What is going on, Warriors? It is your boy Shin Ryu, and it is time for another Street Fighter Duel video. Wow, 2024 has been, great start with regards to, family, life and everything. It's been a crazy start for me with regards to just going through one illness after the other. After the food poisoning, I caught fever as well, and apparently it wasn't food poisoning; it was some stomach bug that was going all around. I thought it was that, so at least I know I can go out to visit my friends and eat again. But on a more serious note, yeah, I have been falling and I kind of like lost my voice in the process because I got sore throats along with fever as well. Um, hun- I'm almost 100%, with regards to my voice coming back, but at least I can. So like talk clearly again, that good stuff. And also, it's been back to work, that kind of stuff as well. I've been, just trying to like manage the day, between family because I have a few things that I'm trying to make sure I can actually improve on as well from a self perspective. People always say, the new year people have a lot of goals and stuff, which sometimes I seem unrealistic, but at the very least you can use that as great motivation for you to, move yourself forward. But enough of that stuff here. We're here to talk Street Fighter Duel today. There is a lot of things that I actually want to cover. And obviously right now what has been going on basically primarily has got to be the effigy clash and the Budo battle. That's pretty much the main stuff. But amongst everything else, a lot of certainties have been springing to mind, and I'm going to try and be noting each of them down one by one as I kind of call them out. So the first things first that sort of like being on my mind with regards to Street Fighter Duel, for example, the one that tends to bother me every single day, and I'm sure if you guys haven't taken action already, it is bothering you guys as well, is the conundrum with regards to Balrog. Okay, as you can see here, the 50% is not just different. I can't remember if this was the same with regards to which jury, and what I'm talking about is this nice animation here, this nice, Balrog image here, because he's the only character that kind of like pops up, almost like a reminder there, but I have no clue. I cannot remember if when was the time of which jury it was that available. It was available as well. I'll probably have to go to past videos to sort of confirm that. But otherwise, it's kind of nice to see. I don't know if this is a move that they're planning to do going forward. But that is the minor part of it. The major part is pulling for Balrog. Okay. Now, if you look at trying to pull characters here, one of the things that I feel like is a good justification of pulling for this, the number one thing is your chance to get this is doubled. So I mean to get these gems here, especially if you haven't gotten it before, because I know that I believe there is a bit of a pity somewhere. For me, divination has not been my greatest amount of pulls. I pull divination based on the amount of divination tickets I've had. I barely use my gems. I have used my gems sometimes, but most of the time was primarily during the time when I had to chase for Evil Ryu, right? And I think Bison to some extent as well, but I wanted to get him to triple S. But most of the gems initially, as you guys remember in my journey, was used in the special summon tickets right here in the shop. So I typically buy all three per day, and I realized I could not actually pile up on tickets anymore. As you can see now, it's a different ball game because I've got 100k tickets, I mean gems, but they're a little over 100k. I was a bit skeptical about this before because once you hit 100k gems, I thought maybe nothing would go in anymore. But once you start to deduct from it, you realize that there is some small change at the back end there. For me right now, there's nothing that I really want to pull with the gem, so it's gonna have to be like that for now. All right, so that's the first aspect I actually want to like just touch on with regards to this reasons for trying to make this pull here. The second obvious reason is opportunities to get cards like this. Unfortunately, the problem is we have no infernal or master version of this card. As much as we have new characters in the form of suit able, for the thunder versions and stuff like that. I have no idea if this ever changes. I think it's just an example. But typically the fact that there are no Master Inferno versions of this card kind of makes this underwhelming in a way, right? Because in the end, you might end up pulling dupes of dead ass characters that already sort of like choked up in your lineup, right? The third aspect, obviously, things like this, but as you guys are aware, if you guys are pulling hard, you're probably already close to going to the five-star version of it. And there are other ways to pull for this as well. And if not, this is kind of like the most prestigious way to get one quickly, over the idle gem, the idle, rewards, for example. But then we have other ones like this, which are very, very valuable because EXP is extremely scarce. No matter how well you've been hunting for it, it gets really expensive. And last but not the least, apart from this money and all this other stuff as well, is going to be the equipments here. But with equipment, it's quite kind of tricky because first of all, you have to get a faction for the equipment you're looking for if you want to maximize your character strength. You also have to at least hope that you do get an equipment, one of this equipment that does have a faction attached to it and not just a blunt one. And of course, last but not the least is getting the actual one that you need, because you probably need at least two for each faction slash let's see. So what I'm talking about here is that, so for each faction, and what's the, what would I call this, fighter type. Yeah, for each faction and fighter type. Is that what we're looking for? Yeah, for each faction and fighter type. Why am I doing this? You're going to need two in most instances, except in a few factions. So if we look at it generally, you want to make sure that you have at least two to cover for these three guys primarily. And if you have, Elfweight and you like the character, then I guess you can say four, but I would say these three primarily for the power are the ones that are important here. If you go for the Thunder version, Thunder has a whole lot more. You do have 5 primary characters that you have to vent for. So this is one of the primary teams that you want to at least have 2 full equipment for. For the Flame, honestly, there is nobody here that's worth it. Obviously, because you don't have much options in the first place. But at the same time, you probably don't want to start converting your current flames, because a new character might come soon enough that might be power and might be flame, might need the existing flame that you do require. With master, you definitely need minimum 2. I am working towards getting all 3 if I can actually convert some of them, because these 2 are already sort of like maxed out, as you can see. So just the third one that just kind of has a bit of whatever. And for Inferno, same as well. 3 minimum. If you have Go Megalakan, then that means 4, because all characters are amazing. The Master and Inferno, I wasn't messing around with those, so I kind of like maxed those out as quickly as possible and converted a few to make sure I could work towards that. But and then of course the thing about the the legendary is that you're probably going to only have one character if you're not paid to pay to win, right? And this is for pay to win when it comes to this equipment, whatever. Because if you if you're this for free to play, if you're paid to win, you probably would easily be able to collect all of this stuff with your resources, right? But for free to play guys, there's only one person that you have to worry about when it comes to this, and that's for the Fashion Blanca, because he's the only free character that's legendary so far. All right. Now going forward to what I was trying to explain as well, you want to make sure that you have minimum 2. There's only a few that you might figure out that you only have 1 or none. For example, the Flame in power, I believe the Master in agility, and I think Technique in wind, you only have just 2 characters. So even probably having 1 would be enough in most cases. But that is sort of like where this can sort of come in, try and help you pile up more equipment. But honestly, it's obviously not something that is a do or die, because you would typically get equipment if you wait long enough in idle rewards. I try to make sure that I wait until at least I do have either an equipment or I have like an EX move fragment. That's when I do pull. If I don't see any of those 2, I don't pull anything at all. So I always typically wait. Doesn't hurt to try and pull all this in at once. You still get the XP based on the number of time that you spent on pulling the stuff. And of course, if you're late game, it means you can actually afford to wait longer and not run out of the idle time. So that's the advantage of that as well. And if you're early game, make sure you're paying attention to your time limit, because at some point it will stop to recruit any kind of like rewards until you pretty much pick up your stuff. But going up to that there, everything all boils down to the fact that unfortunately, as good as Balrog is, he's not super convincing for us to ignore who is coming next. Okay, and that is actually the scary part, because if he was kind of like a character that had the kind of move sets, for example, if he had the stun and all that kind of stuff in his arsenal, that kind of makes him really, really good, then it would be easy for people to take the hit and easy for him to take the hit as well. But at the same time, we know he's not a bad character. He's kind of decent, and of course, you do have the perks of trying to pull at 50% for a character like this. You might end up getting 30k worth back, and 30k worth is what another another 60 pulls, right? Is that what it is? Like one pull? No, one pull is 3k, right? One pull is gonna be 1500, I think so. So if it's 1500 divided by 30k, that's gonna be what do you call it? Let's see, that's 4. So it's gonna be 40 pools. That's not bad, if you that is if you actually do land this. Hopefully I'm getting maths right. If I'm wrong, you guys can let me know in the comment section below. But all in all, this is one of the first that has been bothering me when it comes to the Street Fighter Duel universe recently, during the grind of the effigy battle and the Budo battles as well. I love the effigy battle. Nice way to get rewards. We already have our um the A grade invitations completed. So we're waiting for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a big day, not because there's going to be the street art, but because of this new move, this new event here that we've all been waiting for to figure out what it's about. It's also another reason for me not to quickly rush in my pools right away, because I want to understand how this particular new event works, this illusionary labyrinth. Hopefully it's like exciting and it sounds, being a new event and all. So tomorrow is obviously going to be something a bit more interesting for all of us who have sort of been going through the generic cycle all through the week with what we have to do it right now. Okay, but I hope you guys are going around and trying to bet as often as possible. I tend to miss some of them, but don't sleep on this. You do get nice rewards. Those boxes are really, really worth it for sure. Now, going past the Balrog situation, the second that I sort of have been bothering me as well, not really majorly, but whenever I look at some of my characters, I can think about is what is going on with soul power. Okay, the stuff that made me remember was, I think I was trying to complete my set for Sea Viper, and I'm like, what, soul power is here. But what is the deal right now? Have they just sort of let go of the whatever, or are they satisfied with those who have received it? Is just going to be just special characters are going to be having soul power now? Because obviously, if you have a special character, latest one being Rich E Hunter, all right, you're definitely going to have soul power along with it as well. So that is pretty much cool with that regard there. But what's going on with that? I thought it was going to be a slow roll up for everyone to go through it, or did they think some characters don't deserve it? Let us know how it is going with that. It's not super major, but I know it would definitely improve the set of characters. At the same time, it is obviously expensive to boost, so I'm not really fronting at all. I'm not convinced that with the little resource that I have left, I have to push for some certain characters that I know I'm not going to be using full time. So I've sort of held back on certain characters, like for example, as much as I like Poison, I don't think she's someone that really needs the soul power. Additional dodge, and you have charm increased to 80%. I think it was at 60% before. Let me confirm and see what the charm was on back then. Let's see. Yeah, 60%. So I don't know, I'm not really sure if I want to push for these characters yet. I don't want to. It's true, I don't want to push characters to just the minimum 20%, 20 level 20. So stopping over here. I will need characters that are definitely going to be worth the extra whatever. And then the third thing that I sort of been thinking about as well, with regards to this, is the gearing system right now. Trying to max your character out as a free to play player. it's been a bit tough trying to get materials and all that kind of stuff. And it got to a point where I actually had to sacrifice, my my red, gears. That's the full ones, but those are the ones without the, factional attribute to them. I only have one more left, which is the one that this one here. Where is it? Let's go to my bag. I took it off. I used to have an fashion blanket before. So I only have this one here, but I need to apply it on one of these kits here. It is not going to be a fully efficient way of maxing out this, because you are definitely with the whatever attribute it is for standalone plus this 5-star that you've pretty much added to it. That's pretty much the way it works. So you're definitely going to be losing out on that standalone that you can use to max things out then. But honestly, I'm not that bothered anymore, because I do want all my characters right now at this stage that I am to do have the full faction or whatever. So that's one thing I sort of been working on personally with you guys, to try to make my team as strong as possible, and get the first 6 to be as good as possible, right? But now the other thing that sort of been frustrating me is that I've been trying to get my Goken to triple S. I obviously have enough chaotic starlight to push through, but I only want to use 2 chaotic starlight on the final copy of Goken. I don't want to use all 3 because I already have one dupe, but that's where that particular situation is at right now. So otherwise though, it's just been pretty much business as usual. I've also seen I've also heard people in the community sort of like being a little bit not impressed with regards to the where is the legendary fist temple here. But here's what I have to say about this. I feel like there's so much already that they've granted us that one more temple is not a be all and end all. Of course, I would like to know exactly what the rewards are in this legendary temple, and I'm sure as some of my guys in the subscriber list go further, they will be able to share what kind of rewards that they're getting in there. But I think if anything, those who are paying for these legendary characters need to have something to celebrate about. We can't have everything that they have, as long as sure, it might give them a little bit of an edge, but that's typically how most games work. You're paying to advance to be further. We just want to make sure that it is not to the point where it is just unrealistic for free-to-play players to actually make some progress. So that's the only thing I'm going to say with regards to that. So for me, I'm definitely not bothered with the legendary whatever for now. I'm hoping over time they would eventually roll maybe one or two, even if it's just one more free legendary player, so that we can always loan the third person, because they've been smart about this. They make sure that it's 3 and you can only use one loanee. So if you have a chance where you have people that have several legendary that you want to loan, you can't use all 3 together. So that's the unfortunate bit about it. But hopefully we get one other free one here. We're still waiting for what the new character for the anniversary is going to be, and so that is also another thing to look forward to. But that pretty much pulls us to the end of my thoughts during the current grind of the Street Fighter verse. And one thing that I've noticed lately is that we have not been able to have any single idea of characters that are incoming or whatever event that is coming. We just typically have to wait for 2 weeks prior to that particular event, and then they kind of slap us with the new card that's coming through. Obviously, there should be at least, if we assume an anniversary is February, there should be at least one more event before the anniversary event itself. So meaning we should be expecting one more character, and that character might not be enough for us to decide if you guys are trying to wonder if it's worth pulling for Balrog or not. I think this is going to be a thing of personal preference, where if you feel like it's a good idea, then you go right ahead and you do it. Otherwise, I would just probably say that you guys probably want to go right ahead and not really bother too much about the consequence of not pulling. And if you feel like you're good to pull, then go right ahead and pull. Otherwise, if you're not satisfied, then, or if you're sort of like skeptical, then don't pull. Like me, for example, right now, one day I'm super confident. I'm like, you know what, we're going to do some pull today. I'm going to make a recording, and I'm going to try and see if I can pull in front of you guys and see how we do with the mass Balrog pulls. Next time, I'm like, you know what? Do I really want to go through this? But truth of the matter is that this is the most I've had since I've started the YouTube channel. And not even since I started YouTube channel, since I've started my journey in Shredder Duel from the very first day. The most resources I've had, and when I mean resources, I have 130 divination tickets that I can use from 5. That is a huge number for me personally. Typically, I'm always in the tens, maybe like 80 something or whatever. And then I have 100 plus K gems. Never hit 100K gems before until recently, because obviously I don't use my gems to force, the regular, okay, and this one out, the regular draws here, because this is typically where you probably want to see yourself pushing with your gems. And of course, I'm very, very patient when it comes to divination. I want to make sure that the priority characters are sorted out first before I start looking at other characters in divination. And I actually have to start considering some of them soon enough, unless I just want to have a lineup of special characters that are tough to get and limits my actual ability to progress in the game itself. But luckily for me, I'm not limited in that fact. I'm not actually stuck at all. I'm just patiently grinding through each challenge level. We'll try and make an attempt to see if we can make one progress up to maybe 38 where you have a team of 2. So maybe I'll just stop there and just use that to round that up. Okay, I just gonna put us in a noisy team there. Apologies for that. But my takeaway note in the end of everything is that, oh yeah, not only that, I wanted to mention the final amount of, and I see have some more here. Obviously this is in tens, right? Multiply 10 to this, you have 12K of this already, to even add to that already. This one is obviously 30, so it's not really like super significant. So this is just a little bit over 3K, right? But this one here, it's 100 and already have 134. So there's also 13K as well. So we're looking at least, 25K worth of gems even here alone. So like this is kind of like my most when it comes to stacking up resources. But I started to think that, do I want to stack with these resources and just be excited for anniversary and just say, you know what, I want to trust these guys to actually bring something amazing an anniversary and not really tempt myself to pull anything else? That's the mindset I'm at right now with regards to this whole situation here, and that's why I've sort of like been a little bit skeptical with regards to, Balrog. Somehow I am convinced that we're not going to get another 50%. I just can't see it. I think it's going to be too frequent back to back. I think they would have been patient enough to make 50% become the anniversary part of the anniversary stuff, if anything. But I also think that what they're focusing on right now is the caliber of characters that they want to deliver to the team. So I wonder who's going to be coming out next. I'm actually eager for that. Some people are looking forward to Turtles. It's good to know that the hype is still up there and all that kind of stuff. But for me, I'm a little bit so with the Turtle thing. And Charlie, since my favorite turtle is Donatello, so I know he's probably not going to get the love that he needs. They might end up throwing him as a legendary character, and that could actually, mess things up. But I think if they want to really exploit legendary character, because that's typically where they need to they earn their paycheck, then maybe they might make Donatello one of the, maybe, I don't know. I think they might end up doing it like, how they did on DMC, where you had, you had Virgil, and probably that would be like, Leonardo would probably be like a main event character or something. And then they probably have someone like Donatello or Michelangelo as a legendary character. But the thing is that they might also want to look at an opportunity to actually get Raphael as a legendary character. But I think they already paired. The pairing is based on the based on the data mine. I think that I've heard. I think the pairing was supposed to be Donatello and Michelangelo. Meaning Mike might just end up being the legendary character, whatever, and they might do it in 2 folds. But honestly, in my mind, I'm not really putting my mind on Turtles. If Turtle comes out, that's great, because obviously whenever it has to do with collab characters, they do bring up a special type of event, so that will kind of make things interesting. But let's see what Anniversary brings. I still feel like the Anniversary would be more themed around Street Fighter verse rather than anything else. What I would actually like for the developers, if they're listening, would be not to give up with regards to the Street Fighter characters themselves. If anything, they can do collabs within the game themselves. So you can do collabs with their other titles. So maybe start with Street Fighter 5 or even juggle between Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6, because I know that a lot of people are going to jump on the bandwagon to just see versions of, for example, Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter 5 and 6 respectively, of course other characters too. And not only that, we have also seen some new characters, especially in Street Fighter 5 that has one of the highest amount of rosters, in the Street Fighter verse in a long time. That would be one of the ultimate ones you so do a collab with, like I said, just like what these SNK whatever is doing in there, in the games too. But otherwise, that's pretty much it from me, guys. I want to make sure that I actually want to let you know that I'm still around, still doing my thing here, just like you guys, grinding there as well. And I like and I appreciate your comments as well that have been coming through even during this grinding period in the game. And of course, keep throwing those comments as soon as I have the opportunity to check them out. I'll be responding to them as quickly as possible. Otherwise, it's been your boy Shin Ryu. Thanks for tuning in today. If you make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends as well, share those who are into the game if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.